have Dr. Ritesh Shah with us today, a very interesting person to have on our town hall today, especially at a time when all of us are grappling with, the second wave of COVID. I hope that this session helps us to get some perspective on what it is that we are dealing with. I hope that all of us can get answers to some of the questions that we have. Just to introduce Dr. Ritesh, like I mentioned earlier, he is a unit head of SRV Hospital, which is located in Mumbai. He has over 13 years of experience in the hospital and healthcare industry. I think when I was speaking to him, he mentioned to me work that he's done, which I thought was very commendable, which has been during the pandemic when he was working with HJ Healthcare Group in Central Africa. When the entire world was in lockdown and everything was affected, he was able to mobilize resources and set up a in-house RT-PCR lab for them. Along with a 50-bed dedicated hospital ward and ICU, and also a 210-bed mobile hospital, which is like a tent hospital, which he set up. So I think a very commendable work done there. There have been a lot of, doctors who've been on the front line. And I think he's been right there at the front line, setting up infrastructure and helping us deal with the pandemic. So let us all give him a round of applause and welcome him to our session today. Over to you, Dr. Ritesh.
Thank you, Aditi. Thank you. Good evening, all of you. And thanks all of you for your taking out the time for this session. And I will be happy to share my experience to do some new updates on COVID pandemic 19 right now, which is going on pandemically all over the worldwide. So I will touch few points, but I will not go in too much detail. But I would like to have answer of all the questions, whatever in your mind. So it will be helpful to everyone. So in nutshell, I will just brief something like now we are facing the second wave at present in India, especially the second wave of COVID. So it is the same virus or a kind of mutant of the virus, which is in 2020 early, and the same virus is in the second phase. And the worry is that it's a bit more infectious, more severity-wise a bit dangerous, and the mortality is noticed not too much high, but near about or a bit higher side. So that is a part of worry for all the healthcare sector, and the numbers especially have starting growing everywhere. So started from the western area of India, then central India, and now just moving towards the eastern part of India. So probably the western region will be settling down in another couple of 10, 15 or 20 odd days. But the mid of the India and eastern India will take some more time by mid of June probably. These are the expectations or the forecasting from the healthcare industry experts all over the India wide. That is the thing. Another thing is that like in first wave, the infection was less and the fear was more because it was first time experience to all over the healthcare industry people. But in the second wave, the just opposite thing is that the infection is more spreading and the fear is less. I'm quoting fear is less. Why? Because what happened in the first wave, everyone, including the general population, they are just fearing for that what new thing is coming to us, and they're scared and just keeping themselves inside the house, following all the guidelines, instructions, because it is new to everyone. And once this first wave gone away, slowly things are coming on track. Then parties have started, mobbing has started, marriages have started, and people started moving in crowd and just overcrowding places had been occupied by the too many people, and that was the biggest reason from where this second wave started. So the understanding is that why I'm putting the fear has become less. Fear for what? Like just you have to follow a COVID protocol, or we can say a COVID appropriate behavior, which includes like a social distancing, mask wearing, hand hygiene, and avoid any unnecessary outing from your home. You people are lucky enough that you are enjoying at your home, living with your family. So I think that's the best part of life. You should enjoy this rather than taking like you are been caught inside the room or your house. Because like a healthcare worker, see, like we are working in hospital, we are 24 into 7 available there. Now everyone is in hospital and healthcare, they are also exhausted. by doing same kind of monotonous job since last 1 year. So that is the biggest part of worry for us. So I request all of you, just please follow all the COVID appropriate behavior guidelines of government and just keep yourself cool, calm, because now this is time not to fear and just to follow a guideline and stay safe at your home. The main concern in the second wave was now the infection was traveled from senior citizens to the young age group. The young age group, which is from 18 to 45, or you can say 18 to 50 is the age group. And few children, we have noticed that they are also got affected. The children are affected. Why? Because their parents has traveled somewhere out. Either the children has traveled outside for any party or any birthday gatherings and all that. These are the commonest reason what we had noticed in the patients who are coming to our hospital and we are treating them. That is the biggest reason. So please avoid your children also to go outside. There are a lot of rumors are going on, like the third wave will come, children will affected. Someone has asked the question about the same. So I would like to say that the waves are nothing. It's a layman terminology or a terminology used to explain the severity and the newer change which will happen in the future. Like the COVID-19 virus is the same. It's a kind of RNA virus, and RNA virus have a tendency of mutation. They constantly change. Every month they change their nature. But every mutation is not infectious. There are only few which is infectious. The one which is founded in UK, the strain, that was infectious, and may or may not be in upcoming days. Some more variants will come, and they may be infectious. So everywhere worldwide, or especially in India, government and even all healthcare professionals are keeping their toes on that we will be ready mentally as well as physically. Physically in terms of infrastructure wise, we should be ready, because what problem we had faced in this second wave is that the infrastructure, the arrangement of oxygen, the arrangement of remdesivir, or the arrangement of ventilators and ICU beds are very tedious for us to arrange on time, on track, due to which few mortalities has happened. So we are expecting, so this should not be happen if this third wave comes. And if it will hit our children, the children between so-called age of 8 to 12 or 12 to 18, so we should be mentally prepared with all the infrastructure. That preparation we had already started. Calling our doctors group, talking to them, teaching to them, nursing staff training, motivation for neonatals, for small babies, for pediatric, bit bigger babies. We have already started. So we are doing our preparation as a healthcare professional, but we are not sure that this wave will come or this wave will not come. But we have to be on toes. That is one thing I want to clear. So don't get panicked that third wave will definitely come. Maybe it will not come. Maybe it will come and more dangerous in compared to the second one. All these are the hypothetical talks, and everyone is talking on some assumptions, on some experience and all that. Because the COVID, everyone is facing first time. That is the thing. Second thing is that, like, one question has raised to me for the vaccination. What are different types of vaccine? And Indian one is good or foreign vaccine is good. So I want to clarify there are a few things. Like in India right now, as you all aware already, we have two vaccines which are in use, and third one which got permission. That is Covishield from AstraZeneca and Covax from Bharat Biotech, and Russian Sputnik V. That is the thing. The Sputnik will take certain time to come down, and even the Covax and Covishield both are not available right now. Today, if you talk today, majority of the private hospitals stop vaccination due to non-availability of the vaccine. Only the government setups are giving, because there is a lack of vaccination available. It's not like that we finished all the vaccines. It's like that. I give small data. India requires around 3.5 million vaccines dose per day. The monthly production of vaccine is 70 million per month. We are lacking with 105 million doses, the production and the requirement. So demand and supply gap is huge. So all companies are trying, government even trying to develop more and more vaccine and faster the vaccine. So probably within a month's time or 1.5 months or 2 months, the things of vaccine development and the administration will be on track. That's what we are hoping, and government is also on the track, because already they had kept the target of around 300 million people population to be vaccinated by the end of August. But I think it is bit delay will be there, so 1 or 2 months more they will take, but they will achieve this target. And you will be happy that, which is not a part of discussion, that India is the first country who had did 100 million doses first. We had completed in 85 days of vaccination drive. Even you talk about USA has taken 89 days, and even China has taken 102 days. So we are the worldwidely, we are the first country who had achieved that. And seeing the population and the size of our country, it is next to impossible for any of the country to achieve this target within the time frame. But our health sector, government setups, and all frontline workers are trying their level best, and hopefully we will achieve that. So rather than watching any TV news or just getting any WhatsApp or rumor, don't get panic. I will recommend everyone, just be safe. Those who has got vaccinated for their senior citizen parents or the family members, that is good. And once this 18 to 45 drive will start, and you will get easily vaccination. Right now you are get vaccine in government setup, so you can take it. And once it will start in private sector, you can have your vaccination, and it is 110% safe. Nothing to worry about that. Both vaccines are good. Even I had myself taken Covishield, and I don't have any problem post-vaccine also. And around 25-30 days, second dose has been done. So there is nothing to be worried for which one is good, which one is bad. Because right now we have two only. We don't have any choice or any option. Once we will have, after 6 months or 1 year, the choice are available, the options are available. You can go for anyone, whatever you feel better. Because there are marginal percentage wise, if we say 2-3% variation in their efficacy as per the data. So nothing to worry about that. You can go for any of the vaccines. Both are safe and both are good. The only important thing to keep in your mind that the vaccine are not aid or a medicine that you will not have a COVID infection. After vaccine also, people are getting infection. That is 100% sure that maybe person will get infection, but the severity of the infection will be less. The mortality rate will be very less, and patient may get infected and can recover very fast. Even lot many healthcare workers who have taken vaccines, they have got COVID infection, and they are taken basic treatment, and they back up from their COVID infection part, and now they are doing well. So it's that after vaccination also, after second dose of vaccination also, you have to follow all the COVID appropriate behavior. That is the thing. Another thing I want to highlight that post-vaccine immunity. One person has asked this question. So post-vaccine immunity, generally everyone is facing COVID first time all over the world, right? Whatever the manufacturer, whatever the country, whatever the scientists, they are developing the vaccine, even they don't know what is the efficacy duration of the vaccine. Generally, the thing what is in the discussion and what they are assuming that the post-COVID vaccination immunity will start from few months, so-called 6 months to a year, or maybe a few years. Because now people are taking vaccine, and now the observation period starts from here. Only few months has been done who has taken few doses, like second doses. Now the calculation started from here that it will last for 6 months, it will last for 1 year. So probably by end of this 2021, the clarity will become if the efficacy lies for more than a year or is only for 6 months. So that is not sure. Like if no one knows exactly that is the thing. And I already given the third wave, second wave clarity. And one question has asked from I think Mr. Samir. I'm going to get vaccination. My question is vaccine. Best vaccine I can give a suggestion there that you can go for anyone, whatever you are getting vaccine. That is most important. Take your vaccine and make yourself safe. And one person I think has dropped me a WhatsApp that his SpO2 level is fluctuating from 89 to 94, and sometimes it comes to 97 to 98%, and having bit slightly pain in the chest. And this episode has repeated 2 to 3 times. So there I would like to recommend you that just go and consult your internal medicine doctor, because this is the thing which is maybe a part of worry, that the fluctuation should not be there, either on lower side, either on higher side, the steadiness should be there. If fluctuation is there, might be due to respiratory or upper respiratory problem, or maybe some cardiac involvement is there. I'm not telling it is 100% sure, but maybe. So better to get evaluate yourself, get consult with your doctor, and whatever he will recommend, or get it done at least a basic ECG or some cardiac markers in that to clear from psychological aspect that everything is okay. So nothing to worry about it, but the fluctuation is not good. So just consult your doctor. That is my recommendation to you. Another thing that probably all questions I had covered in my general discussion. So again, I will come to the thing and the logical thing is that there is nothing worry of third wave in your mind. Just keep cool, calm. Things are going in a good direction, in positive direction. But after some time, we will get to know that whether the third wave is hitting India, how badly it is hitting India, and how India is reacting to that third wave. That is more important. So now, Aditya, I will request if any leading questions from your end, so I would like to answer them.
Yeah. So there was one question from Manoj, who is based in Nigeria, which he had shared. So he was just wondering if there are any medicines that we should keep at home, like a preparatory thing, because he was a little worried that he's based there and they are scared that there'll be a second wave happening there. So he's just checking in terms of preparation in case anything needs to be done.
Yeah, Manoj, I can understand you are part of worry because I was in Africa for 2.5 years, so it's totally a remote location. Things are not easily available like in India. The people who live in India, they are the lucky ones that at every doorstep they have approachable things, but in Africa it is very tough. So nothing like that, any big medicine or any higher antibiotics, so you have to keep, just keep a routine medication in your house like paracetamol, azithromycin, levocetirizine, anti-allergic, antipyretic, and AZ kind of thing, azithromycin, you keep in your house for any small or early stage of upper respiratory tract infection or allergy. Just you can cater all this thing at your home. And if you feel that the things are going worse, then straight away go to hospital, because any bigger antibiotic, IV antibiotic, that can be administered in hospital only, not at home. That would be better.
Okay. Manoj, I hope that answers your question. We have another question from Shailesh, which he's put on the group right now. So he's checking, can children be protected from future waves of vaccine by vaccine? If not, any other possible care to be taken for them?
Now the vaccine for the children, pediatric age groups are under trial. Even you can see the news that US is going to start the trial for the for children. So yet now, till today, there was no vaccine came in the market for the children. But definitely in upcoming future days, it will be there in our hand for the children, especially the age group below like 15 to 18 age group, and 12 to 15, or say from below 12 years of age group, because the age and the weight is a bigger criteria for developing any kind of this vaccine, because the dose may change from the age group to age group. So another scientist group is already working on that. Few trials are already gone, first and second trials, and they are at the worst to end these trials. And soon we will get a positive news about the vaccination for the children. But by that time, what everyone is telling, just follow that. Simple. Keep your children in your house. Don't allow them to go to play in playgrounds, because when they will go outside the house, they will touch here and there, and they will meet certain outsiders. You don't know that guy, that person is having infection, or that place is having infection, and that may carry infection along with them to your house. Even they can infect, and the infection can transmit to you also. And same applies to you. Once you will go outside, when you come to your house, just remove your clothes, take proper bath, hand hygiene, body hygiene, and at least basic thing you can do, wear mask always. When you go outside, come along with the mask only, and clean your hand with soap. See, what I'm telling, using of sanitizer is a very bad concept in sense of other things. Sanitizer use is good concept, but using a sanitizer in a bad way, it may create a more danger. Like what? Sanitizer creates, when you use sanitizer, it will create a layer on your palm. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. After 3-4 times, you have to wash your hand with soap. Gentle soap you can use along with the tap water. You have to clean your hand. That is the best way of doing cleaning of your hand. After 3-4 times use of sanitizer, you can wash your hand. What people generally doing, they are using entire 10-12 hours only a sanitizer. That is another wrong practice, because what will happen? Some people may develop allergy from that sanitizer. Some skin problem will be developed. And your hands are always wet. You can touch any surface and you can catch another infection in your hand. So rather than doing good thing, it will be turned out to bad thing. So sanitizer can be used for 2-3 applications. After that, you have to hand wash with water, liquid soap or normal soap in your house, and with the tap water. That is the thing.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Coming to the next question is from Biswajit. He's checking if a high diabetic patient can take the vaccine and if there's any side effect.
Which is like already the age group above the 45 or above 50, they are a comorbid age group we consider. Like every second person is having either diabetes, either hypertension, and they are taking vaccine. That means that the vaccine is safe for that kind of category. So whatever the high diabetes or low diabetes, it doesn't have any relation with the vaccination, or high blood pressure or low blood pressure doesn't have any relation. You can go, you can take vaccine for your parents or whosoever the relative above 45 age group and along with the comorbid condition. Nothing to worry. Only those people who have allergy, either from any of the painkiller, either paracetamol or any medication allergy they have to wait. They have to consult first to their doctor. Then only they can go for vaccination. Yes, everyone can go for vaccination anytime, no problem.
Okay. Thank Biswajit, I hope that answered your question. We are slightly running on short on time, so I'll take the last two questions that are here. The other questions you all can email it to me, and I'll share it with Dr. Ritesh, and then we can come back on the response on that. So I'll take up Kinjal's question next. She's checking if once detected with COVID, within how many days should you take your first vaccine?
Once you will get all the treatment of COVID or discharge from the hospital or home COVID treatment is completed, then at least after generally we say 2 to 3 weeks, or you can better go after one month. That is more safer. So 3 weeks post COVID treatment, there is no problem, but after 4 weeks, that is more safe. You can go.
Okay. All right. There is another anonymous question that's come up with regards to vaccination and pregnancy. So they are checking if we are in a planning phase, then what would be the appropriate gap between vaccination and planning the pregnancy? And if pregnant is there, is it okay to get vaccinated?
See, if pregnancy is not yet done or planned, you can go for vaccination. But if someone is pregnant, someone is lactated, then we are not recommending to go for vaccination. It is not recommended for lactating mother and even who are pregnant right now. That is the guideline. So we are following that only.
Okay. The next question is from Hitesh. He's checking on which vaccine has blood clotting issues. There are certain cases outside India where Covishield has shown blood clotting issues, whereas Covaxin did not.
I would take this question to answer very differently. What is happening? Like there are a lot of hypothetical studies in the market and wrongly quoted. So I would recommend don't go in that studies and don't listening. What is happening when the vaccine is developed in one country, when it goes to other country, like if US is developing something or Russia is developing something, that vaccine will come to India. So that will require a bridge trial. Bridge trials mean that the vaccine developed in Russia or America or XYZ country as per their demographic condition, as per their population, as per their genotypes. Once the vaccine will come to our country, our demographic situations are very different. We have hot climate in south, mild hot at central India, and we have chill climate at north. And lot many different we have in our atmospheric condition, plus our lifestyle, plus our body prototypes, plus our genotypes. So the bridge trials are always been done for such kind of medications or such kind of vaccinations. But though this is a pandemic situation, so government has changed some guidelines. The bridge trials, generally we take lakhs and thousands of people for trial and then we come to a conclusion. But for specific this COVID vaccine, government has reduced the prototype and the bridge trial has been reduced from lakhs to only 1,000 so-called population of trial. Once it will done, the vaccine will come to India and they will give approval. What is happening? This approval required because see, the drug controller or DGCI will not give approval rightly because it's a mass vaccination will be done. It's not going to be done for one people or two people because once the approval will be done, it will be done in a like straight away way. So any cross problem will be coming or any comorbid condition will develop or any critical condition will develop to any of the patients that has to be checked properly before launching that vaccine in particular geographic area. That is the one thing. Second thing is that like post-vaccine clottings are happening. It is not like that. There are few things, few studies, few places only they had found these reactionary changes are there. Again, this may be a batch problem. This may be that particular geographical area's problem because already the patient who are having COVID, they are higher in risk for the cardiac element, even the blood clotting things in their body. In routinely for the treatment of COVID patients, like a all critical wave, generally we use a blood thinner in ICU. Already we are using all these things. Rather, it is vaccinated, non-vaccinated, or pre-vaccinated or post-vaccinated.
Okay, thank you. Coming to the last question for today, Jitendra has checked with us. I recently recovered from COVID. What precautions should I take and how long time?
That's a good question. Jitan, I will give answer for your question, but it applies to all of you. Either you get COVID or non-COVID. See, COVID, once it will done, the person physically exhausted too much during the COVID, even psychologically also. So for physical exhaustion, the weakness will lie for few days to few weeks. So it's a routine for everyone. So nothing to worry that only one person is having weakness or another is having. Follow your proper diet. Have plenty of liquid. Even you can take Narel Pani or something and routinely in your lifestyle because it is having potassium and that. So all minerals, vitamins will reinflux in your body. So definitely you will be in a better phase to recover from your weakness day to day. Also, start bit brisk walking and chest exercise. Chest exercise means that take inside the fresh oxygen, exhale out. This breathing exercise you have to do off and on. And early morning, if you do all these things, the high concentration of oxygen will go inside your lungs and it will help you out from the respiratory recovery also. That is thing. I missed one important topic. In short, I can cover. Yeah. So one important things are going around right now. Black fungus might you all had listened or you heard somewhere. It's a fungal. The disease called mucormycosis. It is happening to the patient who are having COVID, even those who recovered from the COVID after 20 days, 10 days, 5 days, or 13 days. So this black fungus is like a fungal infection which will develop inside your nose, your respiratory way, and that can spread out to your eyes and even to a brain. And it is a very dangerous thing that we recently noticed because patients are dying due to this problem. So the best thing is that if anyone nearby you, either in your family or relative, notice some nasal sinusitis problems, swelling around nose, around eyes, redness, pain, bleeding, or any kind of like itching sensation or allergic sensation nearby your face and eyes, you immediately report to any good ophthalmologist or good ENT doctor who can do your nasal endoscopic diagnosis. Like they can enter the scope in your nose and they can see where all the nostrils are clear. If there is any fungus or any other foreign body growth, they notice. And investigation wise, MRI, CT scan, they can advise because MRI can detect all the soft tissue growth near your all the brain areas and orbital areas and all that. And CT scan give you the clarity on the bony area. If some bone resorptions are there due to that fungal growth, that will be done. This black fungus is very dangerous because it doesn't give us too much time to treat the patient, to wait the patient. Today it is in nose, tomorrow it will be nearby eye, and day after tomorrow it will be up to the brain, and a person we can lose in 3-4 days of time. Amphotericin B, one of the big medicines, antifungal medicine we are giving, and it's required in bulk quantity to do the patient. And only few good doctors, few hospitals are treating right now. So the most important thing is that to contact the right doctor. The right doctors are ophthalmologist, ENT surgeon, infectious disease expert. These are the three persons you can contact if this problem you notice nearby your place. So I'm done from my side.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ritesh. I think this has been a very helpful session for all of us. On behalf of the entire practice family, thank you very much for taking time out. We understand how hectic and exhausting it must be for you in the last 1 year. And we are really grateful that you've been able to take out some time to address our queries. To the team, in case you all have any questions post this session, please feel free to drop me an email. I will surely share it with Dr. Ritesh and get his inputs on those. So thank you very much again, Dr. Ritesh.